computer. Okay. All right. So it should be going live. Welcome everyone. If you're just joining, I'm going to give it a couple seconds just to set everything up. Make sure all the things are working. Looks like I'm good on Facebook. How's it looking on your end? Working. Looks like I'm good on Facebook. Okay. How's it look?
I see you.
Beautiful.
You are there.
Beautiful.
I'm here. We're here together.
We're in the virtual space.
Hi, Harrison.
Hello, my friend. How are you feeling? How's the energy? How's the energy moving through?
Soul tingles all around. I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, me too. Let's get started. Let's get straight into it because I think everyone's showing up either live or on the replay. They want to know the answers. They want to know what the hell is going on. What is this cosmic heart drive? And how can I start? How can I pour my heart into this? So I'll throw it to you, my friend, and you can kick us off.
Are you ready to unveil what is the cosmic heart drive? Because I can't hardly stand it anymore, personally. I am so ready. I've been on pins and needles all day.
Yeah.
I'm ready for this to come out, be birthed into the virtual landscape, and to share with all of these beautiful people who are syncing up with us in real time.
Yeah. And Jenna, like before you keep going, like I'm so ready that, I was writing some poetry, and we'll speak about this in a second. But I was writing some poetry last night, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to not just share the words that I'm writing, but I could feel the extra little frequency, if you want to call it, or special gift that's going to be in the expression of the poetry that I'm so excited to share with the people that are going to sign up. So I'll throw it back to you. Are you feeling the same sort of excitement?
Yes, absolutely. It's like ribbons of intrigue that are just rippling through. And I have not been this excited about a creation with a fellow collaborator for quite some time. This is something that it truly birthed into being in an organic way by divine will. And it was something that simply transpired from all that you and I and so many other human avatars who are synced up with our orbit in real time, that this just came together in this beautiful sequence of unfolding. And now it's like at the precipice of bringing it and breathing life into it. And I just couldn't be more excited. So
yeah.
Do you want to tell them, or do you want me to?
I want you to start, but I'll say one more thing because I can't help myself. For people listening and tuning in, what you just described in terms of how it's been manifesting for us, this is not an us thing, right? We can all open our hearts to these kinds of divine creations, right? That the characteristics that you just outlined, we can look for, right? Because I say this because I know a lot of the people that follow you and a lot of people that follow me are not just light workers, but intuitive souls that are looking for the next thing to birth into this world. And those are the characteristics you can look for: the ease, the grace, the co-creative magic, even if it's just you co-creating with, the universe. So with that, what are we co-creating? What is this cosmic hard drive?
So you said it beautifully. It's not just about us. This is something that it's meant to serve as this. I see it as a segue between the space of doing in the 3D and virtual world, and then the space of being, where we find ourselves, I find myself having had trouble with all of the work that I find myself immersed within in this space where I must disconnect from this mainframe of creation, our template, our palette of many colors, our canvas where we are wielding our magic and painting a masterpiece. I have found that I must unplug from all of that and then go inward into this void and tap into what I've been referring to as the cosmic heart drive. And this cosmic heart drive, it's kind of a mirror of a mainframe, that it's in this way of a void, like that divine feminine void where creation is birthed,
Yeah.
and a vector that takes me there, and it has always taken me there. And working with you has reignited this within me, is
Yeah.
poetry.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yes. Perfect segue to me adding into this eloquent description that you've added so far. The void and that feminine consciousness that is inside of all of us. And this is so synchronistic because I just did a deep dive on this topic with a client this morning. So I'm super fresh describing this. This voidal feminine consciousness that is in the hearts of all of us, right? It's not a Jenna thing, it's not a Harrison thing. We all have it, is systematically in this globe at the moment suppressed, right? We are suppressing it as individuals unconsciously due to what you said, only being in the doing. The doing is magical, it's amazing. But we're not connecting into this voidal consciousness. One of the ways that we can evoke this voidal, feminine, nourishing space that exists in our heart is through being bathed in creative expression, right? Any creative expression. But my favorite at the moment, and I know one of your favorites, is through poems, is through poetic prose, is through verses, metaphors, lyrical dancing of words, right? And if it's all right with you, Jenna, I think what I'm going to do just to explain this idea is I'm going to read you a poem. And
Ooh,
I
I
think,
love it.
and
Yes.
and you've read it already, I think, if you've been following our social posts. But this is for everyone that is new to this. This highlights not just what we're going to be doing in the Cosmic Heart Drive, but the necessity for why we're doing it, right? So this poem is called Healing Spoken Poetry. In the world of expression, where feelings confide, I listen to verses seeking solace inside. For within the words and the rhythm's embrace lies a balm for the wounds and a calmness to face. Through sonnets and stanzas, I open my heart, releasing the pain, allowing my shadows to part. Each syllable dances, each metaphor weaves, a blanket of healing that my soul retrieves. The mistakes that were buried now tenderly laid, in the lines that caress, spoken lovingly and conveyed. The verse like bandages bind up my strife, embracing my sorrows, bringing forth new life. For poetry holds the remedy to soothe, to breathe life anew where darkness can move. So let the verses flow, let the healing commence. As poetry becomes my graceful defense, with every word spoken, a piece of me lets go, transforming the tightness into treasures I know. In the sanctuary of verses, I find my resolution, Within spoken poetry, my heart has its solution.
Mm.
So I'll throw it back to you, Jenna. One,
I
how does that feel, and what is it? How does it connect to this consciousness that we're speaking about?
I feel as though this segue, it's like what you have transmitted for us, and I wasn't expecting that. It gave me some
Tingles.
beautiful ribbons, tingles all over, tingles abound. Absolutely. I get this feeling every time I read your poetry, Harrison. And I think that a lot of people who are tuning into our poetry on your platform and on mine, they're getting these tingles as well. And this just speaks to that fact. And it is a fact that you just expressed, that this is not just for you and for me. This is a tingle that connects us all. And I feel in that moment of laying ourselves down at the end of a day, when we are building a life, or we are building a business, or we're simply living, and living comes with all of its accumulations of trauma and worry and fear and sadness and pain. But as we lay ourselves down to sleep, this dreamscape and the sanctuary of deep rest, it's this sacred space that I feel as though, like what you had already said, that we are not connecting as individuals or as a collective into this divine feminine aspect of beingness versus doingness. And before we tune in to that dreamscape, that sanctuary of deep rest, and ready ourselves for bed, we should be tuning in collectively elsewhere, from like whatever worrisome news has caught our attention, or whatever Netflix special we might have been watching, whatever challenge or heartache or angst that has us weaving those stories in our brain. Then this place is where poetry can really weave its magic into our infinite heart space. And that is what the entire point
Yeah,
of this beautiful creation, that we are co-creatively weaving
yeah,
together with everyone.
yeah. That's it. You nailed it, my friend. I can't add more to it because that's it. We actually I can. I lied. One more piece. I shared that poem on Instagram this morning, right? And this adds to what you're saying about this necessity right now, especially before bed, after we've lived our days of, ego. Let's be fair, it's a lot of ego elements that we get lost in. And I shared this poem on Instagram this morning, and I had a lot of beautiful response. And one of the responses was a lovely man who actually reread the poem back to me. And this is really one of the other necessities of this, is what that poem I wrote and the ones that you wrote that we will be sharing together in the container. They're not just not from us, but they are connecting into the us that is in everyone. And what I
Oh,
mean,
yes.
yeah,
Mm.
what I mean by what I
Yes.
mean by that is, presence and divinity, higher source, God, whatever your name is for it. And if we can tap into that at the end of our day, right? I think most spiritual people don't have trouble waking up in that space. I know I don't, right? But it's more about ending the day in that space. Then we've completed the loop, right? We
Mm.
start with God, or we start with source, and we end with source. So
Mm.
now you don't just go into the dreamscape, not just physically stressed, but you remember what you are.
Mm. That's perfect. That sums it all up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And we are prepared, because I know that so many people, that they have reached out to you and they've reached out to me, and they very much want to work within our orbit, and we very much want to work with them. But there are so many different
Yeah.
circumstances on planet Earth right
Yeah.
now. And something that I have felt called to for quite some time is a container, an experience that is accessible to anyone, regardless of where they find themselves in between jobs, building a business, or simply just wanting to have that experience of working within the
Frequency.
frequency that we are
Yes.
weaving. Yes. And this opportunity of this cosmic heart drive, it opens up that door,
Yeah. Yep.
and it allows, I mean, we're so excited to invite everyone who feels called to sync up with this frequency. You're going to get 7 days for free to just experience that and feel what it is that we are creating. And you're going to be tapping into something far greater than yourself, far greater than Harrison and myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
that's just beautiful. This is what I've been so excited about.
yeah. Yeah, me too. And I'll throw some pain points, and they almost don't feel necessary at this point because there's more to it. But the pain points are, to start with, is that sleep piece, right? Is if you're stressed and you're having difficulty sleeping, going to bed at night after your day, this is for you. But I'd encourage you to go deeper than that, because you just talked about frequency and you talked about being in our orbit. This poetic expression through the cosmic hard drive that we will be sharing to you, with you, it's going to bring up things. And when I say bring up things, I don't mean shadows. That may be a part of it, and that's beautiful too. But what I mean is bring up passion, bring up inspiration, bring up, oh, that's the next step that I need to take. That's the next path, or that's the next journey, or that's the next expansion moment that I need to lean into. And that's not us giving you that, right? That's us cultivating through our frequency, but reminding you of that answer that for whatever reason wasn't coming up, but now has the opportunity to. So if you're looking for that, then come join us for free.
For 7 days. 7 days. This is an accumulation of an experience. This isn't just a taste or a tidbit. This is, we are setting this frequency in motion, and it's going to create momentum over time that you are going to be able to
Yeah,
experience in real time on a meter, and almost like a metronome
yeah,
that's going to set a rhythm for your evening as you unwind, and you are going to feel the difference as you awake and begin your day.
mm,
And it's going to create this weaving in between all of our soul
yeah,
signature frequencies, so that this poetry, which, by the way, I feel like poetry, it's fallen out of sync with the human collective in this really wide scale way. It used to be so much more prevalent, in medieval times. It's going to re-tap you into this Akashic record, if you will, to like an ancestry within you, because the sound of spoken poetry, it activates something. It activates something on the cellular level,
yeah,
so that whenever you unwind and you tap into this cosmic heart drive, and it provides that segue where, yes, there are words spoken, but it's going to pave your way into that dreamscape, so that when you awaken refreshed, we're going to be very excited to hear on our platforms exactly what this is weaving in
yeah.
your world.
Ooh, soul tingles, my friend. I can't wait. How about let's wrap this up with some calls to action and what people can do. So this is starting next week. Next week, what's the date on Monday? It's the 19th.
19th.
Yep, 19th. So starting on the 19th. So it'll be the 20th Australian time for all my beautiful Aussie tune listeners and audience. If you want to sign up, you can go to my website, harrisonmar.com, Mar spelled MEAGHER /heart drive. harrisonmai.com/heartdrive. We'll put the link in all of the descriptions of these videos, so it'll be super easy. And you sign up for the free trial and we go from there. We obviously are going to continue this after the week and we can talk about that later, but all you need to do is sign up for that week and see how it feels for you. And then we'll take a step from there.
And for everyone who signs up this next week, you are getting in on the ground floor of something truly special. Let me just impart that really quickly before we end this, revealing that we are going to be uploading a new transmission, both Harrison and myself, every single day, Monday through Friday, where there's going to be a new poetic transmission for you to tune into and sync up with. You are going to get all of the juicy goodies that we have, and we're going to be pouring into there. There's going to be so much delicious content for you to just like lay back into and absorb and experience in real time the birth of something truly new.
Yeah.
And
I can't wait to hear yours, Jenna. I'm a part of this and creating this, but I'm also excited to dance with you and hear your transmissions because I've noticed, and you've shared this with me, what you are cultivated and creating around my transmission. So this is going to be a extra deep way in which to experience that. So I'm
may
so
I read a
excited.
poem before we
Yes,
hop
please.
off?
Let's finish with that. Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm going to read Powerful Medicine. I'll be the salve that soothes broken hearts, forsaken dreams, a healer of unseen wounds, intended for my soul path, so it seems. I've finally come round to reluctantly see the highest good for us both, depending ultimately upon you being you and me being me, both of us unapologetically, respecting integrity and personal policy. This is the powerful medicine I choose to set us both free with nothing to lose, everything to gain, authentically induced. So deeply from this tincture we'll drink, showing love for one another through self-love will sink.
Love it.
Tingles?
I love it. Tingles, but also it's inspiring me to do some more writing. So I'm going to go do that. I'm going to write some poems.
You see how this works, guys?
It's moving through me. And I'll say this before we finish. If anyone's tuning in, and I think a big chunk of you feel into this category, you've listened to my podcast before. And through the topics that I speak about on my show, the things that I talk about, they excite you, right? The mental understandings of the different types of people I have on, or the things that I'm teaching to specifically. But I would ask you, what is the deeper experience that's usually happening, right? You're activated not just by the topic, but you're activated by the essence that is spoken underneath the topic. And poetry, as we just felt through your beautiful words, it does that to us. So we must take that action when it comes and see how it flowers. So any final words, Jenna, before we leave it there?
I think that was the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Me too.
I've dropped the link in
Perfect.
my YouTube chat, and we'll be dropping that in Harrison. So please sign up for 7 free days in the Cosmic Heart Drive. We are so excited to be sharing these transmissions with you.
Oh, I can't wait to start. All right, everyone, sending love, and we'll talk soon.